Hey guys, welcome back to Warehouse Amps. We've got a fun little project here on the bench today. This is a Magnatone M6 suitcase amplifier. There's sometimes called an S-Day amplifier because of the design work by the company S-Day. The reason this amplifier is in the shop is it has a buzz that we're trying to get rid of up here in the control panel. So we're going to get inside of this and see what we can do to stop this thing from buzzing around. Maybe hopefully just some loose connections that we can tighten up, but also we may have to do a little, you can hear that, a little bit of insulation work to keep things from buzzing. And the owner has asked if we can slow down the vibrato. So we're going to take a look at that section as well. Even the slowest setting on this amplifier is still really fast. So we're going to get inside here and see what we can do with that vibrato circuit. So stay tuned and we will get this thing taken apart. So I thought I'd stop here as I am taking this apart, just so that you can get a look at the design work here on the Magnatone. Pretty cool way to put this together. We had a couple of little Allen screws here that go through the wooden exterior and into the chassis here. So we got a nice aluminum mounting plate here for the handle and the side of the box, and then also for the component chassis section, which you'll notice has a whole bunch of cutouts in it. And I imagine that's so that Magnatone could have a single stamped chassis piece and put a bunch of different amplifiers on the same piece of metal, you know, saving on production costs and whatnot. And then on the top side here, we can see that there's no board happening other than this one back here, which is, I'm guessing, yeah, with all those disc capacitors, that's going to be the vibrato section. Yeah, there's no board. Everything's just kind of coming off of the components and all of the capacitors and resistors are just sort of hanging out freely, connecting one thing to another, which is a cool way to do it. It's not quite as clean as like a Fender layout, but you know, we should be able to figure it out. Yeah, so I just wanted to give you an update on that, the way that this thing's put together. There are a couple of umbilical cables that come up from the inside here. We've got this multi-pin guy that's going down to the main transformer, so this is the primary circuit. There's the filter caps down there in that cap canister. And then we have a speaker cable umbilical going to this 12-inch speaker, which looks to be in pretty good shape, but we'll go ahead and pull it just to make sure everything's looking good. And there is a complete schematic right here on the back wall of the cabinet, so that's exciting. I'll try to get a better picture of this so that I can print out a copy and maybe save a copy down in the comments section. Before I move on, I did want to point out the vibrato circuit here and then kind of correlate it back to what we were just looking at on the chassis. So signals coming in here through a 0.047 capacitor. We got a 0.0047, a pair of those, and then a couple of 330Ks. All of that just to get to the vibrato intensity knob comes over through this juncture through our first 0.02, and that's this guy right here. Okay, so that's what part of the circuit we're on. We've come all the way through all of this stuff, including the foot switch, to the intensity, and now we're over here where we're going to make our 90-degree phase turn using these three capacitors. 0.01 next, right here, and then another 0.01 here. Each one of these has a resistor going to ground, coming in between each one of those, and then a 220K going up to the speed knob. That's coming off of this red wire, which goes all the way up over here sorry, get the camera in focus, to the speed via the 220 resistor. Let's see, which is hanging out. Sorry about the camera work, guys. I know it's terrible. Here's where that red wire comes in, 220K to ground, and then a lead coming off of here up to the speed knob. So that's the circuit. Again, we're going to add 2 capacitors, one here and one here, additional 0.01s to bring these up to 0.02 value on these guys, on top of these guys. We'll just piggyback them in there. Okay. Okay, turn off this fan here. We're looking at the tremolo circuit here, and I just removed these capacitors to double check their values, and they are correct. We've got a 0.02 here in first position, a 0.01 and another 0.01 there, and that matches the schematic, and the corresponding resistors are all pretty much in value. This guy here is supposed to be 33 meg, but it's 22 meg. Not sure that makes a huge difference. But what I can do to hopefully slow down this tremolo, or vibrato, I should say, for the customer, is add an additional capacitor here, 0.01, on top of this 0.01, so that'll increase this to 0.02. They'll work together in series. And then if that's not enough, I can put another one here to do the same thing, another 0.01 in that position, and see what kind of speed we're at with that. Unfortunately, with the umbilical stuff, if I want to test this, I'll have to kind of put the amp back together, or mostly back together, in order to turn it on and see what's going on. Which kind of a pain, but not too bad. I might do that. But before I put it back together, I'm gonna go ahead and do a regular full service on this. So I'll go through and tighten all of the connections here on the chassis and clean things, including the knobs, and of course all the tube sockets. Make sure that those are clean and tight. Look for any other damage or loose wires, anything that looks overheated or needs to be replaced. Then I'll put it back together and fire it up and see what kind of speed we have here. All right, so hang tight. Okay, so I've got my additional capacitors in place, and I don't know if you can see it, but they're right here. They're just piggybacking on top of the existing ones there. So 2 additional 0.01s in place, and here's what it sounds like. I think it's pretty good. It might be too slow. I'll send a video of this to the owner and see what they have to say. So this is full intensity, and this is as slow as it goes. And then this is as fast as it goes. Cool. So I'll send that off to the customer and see if they like it, or if they want to go a little faster than that. Well, the client's happy, and that's great. I also read online that there's a way to increase the intensity of the circuit by lowering the value of this resistor just before grid. It's hard to see, but this is a 3.3 meg. The decimal's a little hard to see there. So I removed that guy here, 3.3 meg, and then replaced it. I went ahead and just put in a couple of alligator clips, and I've got 2 meg here. So I'm making a 2 meg out of a couple of 1 meg resistors, and that definitely seemed to, I don't know if it like boosted the intensity a lot, but things are definitely clearer now. You can hear that that vibrato a little more cleanly. So I'm going to solder that in where these alligator clips are, and then I'm going to take a look at swapping out this 47K resistor just before the intensity knob to kind of see what that does. to the circuit. So that's this guy here. It's a carbon comp coming off of the foot pedal to the intensity knob. So I'm going to try lowering this value and see if that gives me any more intensity. So it's a 47K. I'll probably cut it in half to see if there's a dramatic change. And we'll go from there. Okay, now we're going to move on to the rattling problem. So this is where the top of the amplifier interfaces with the faceplate. And it was separating a little bit, and that may have been causing some of the buzz or rattle that we were hearing. It looks like they just used like two-sided tape along here to hold the faceplate to the plastic lid of the amplifier, and they kind of stopped or ran out right in here somewhere. So I went ahead and put a little bit of super glue in between the faceplate and the plastic on each one of these crossover points. And then of course I clamped it down, and we'll leave that overnight. There's a big piece of angle iron on the front that this is working against to make that tight squeeze. And of course there's a little bit of shop towel in between because I don't want to scratch anything up. So we're gonna let that rest overnight, and hopefully everything will be nice and stuck down together. The other thing I noticed is that this rubber gasketing material that went all the way around the outside was originally glued on. And there's like a little bit of this residue left over and a little sticky on the inside. But that glue has dried up and ceased to function. So I'm gonna put a new layer of glue on this to stick it onto the lid. Make sure that that's not a source of our buzzing either before I do the full reassemble. Right on, guys. We got the clamps off of the faceplate here for the M6, and everything stuck down nice. I did a little tone test, just tapping on it to see if there was any rattles, and I couldn't hear anything. So I went ahead and took the next step and used a little bit of Gorilla Glue to reattach the rubber edge all the way around here. The original glue had worn out and turned into powder, basically. So don't want to have any opportunity for a buzz or rattle to happen between the rubber gasketing here and the plastic. The Gorilla Glue needs 24 hours to set up, which is a bit of a drag, but the nice part about it is it gives you some time to do a little cleanup without things being too sticky. So I'm just gonna finish grabbing the rest of this glue that's poked up through, and make sure that we have a nice even amount of shine on this when we're all done. I haven't cleaned this yet because I wanted to get through all of this clamping and gluing and stuff before I do that, but that'll be the next step in about 24 hours. Oh man, we're in the home stretch on this Magnatone. As you can see, I found some felt weather stripping to put in here. There was a section already in the back that was original. So I kept that, and then I just added in some fresh stuff around the perimeter. We've got the rubber gasketing all glued on, and the umbilicals are reconnected. We're ready to put this all back together. But I did want to show you this felt stuff before I sealed it up. So yeah, we're gonna seal it up and do a little audio test just to make sure there's no buzzing, and stay tuned for that. Well, you made it to the audio test of the Magnatone M6. Just to recap the work we did on this amplifier, we gave it a full service, took it all apart. We slowed down the vibrato circuit by adding two 0.01 capacitors into that circuit. And then we did our very best to eliminate any potential buzzes that may be occurring between the faceplate and the chassis, and also between the top of the amplifier and the cabinet, by putting in some extra foam, tightening up a bunch of things, and gluing the faceplate down to the plastic part of the lid. So now we'll do a little audio test to see how everything turned out. We are in the first channel, high gain input. and we're going to roll the tone knob up to about 12 o'clock and set the three-way switch to normal. It has mellow, normal, and bright. I'll play all of those for you. And then we'll have the vibrato off for now, just so we can hear the clean sound. This is the neck pickup on my shop Telecaster. Very mid-rangey and in the ballpark, but let's turn up the loudness just a little. There we go. And then I'm going to roll the tone up a little higher. That's better. Lovely. That sounds great. Okay, now let's turn on that tremolo. Speed is all the way down, intensity all the way up, and it sounds like this. Great, let's have a little more speed. And then the speed all the way up. Great, a lot of workable speeds in there. Now let's check out this three-way tone control. Right now we're on normal. Here's bright. And here's mellow. Cool. Well, that's going to about do it for this episode on the Magnatone M6. Be sure to like and follow this page so you can see the next repair and the next crazy amplifier that comes into the shop.